5 things that I've learned in my 65 years of living that have helped me to create a whole and healthy lifestyle for myself. I'm here outside in my gorgeous Tanzanian garden. Hi, I'm Opare from Food for the Soul, and here on this channel I share tips and tools you can use to create a healthy diet and lifestyle that you can stick to so that you can do the things that you're meant to do in this world. If that sounds like something you're interested in, be sure to click the subscribe button and don't forget to turn on the notifications so you'll find out every time I upload a new video. So the first lesson that I learned was something that I learned actually pretty early in my life, in my 20s, my early 20s, and that was that I could choose how I wanted to feel. Yeah, many things happen in this world or in relationships that suck. Shit happens. But I just realized that I didn't have to stay in that feeling of anger and frustration and rage and sadness. I could choose to let that go and choose how I wanted to spend my day, my life. It doesn't do any good to stay in that angry state. It doesn't help anything. It doesn't allow you the openness to be able to move forward, make better choices, make a different choice, and do the things that you want to do. It's kind of like those books I know my kids used to read that were like you choose your own story. So here's this thing that happens, and then you get to decide, do you want the story to go this way or do you want the story to go this way? And so you get to decide. I mean, I've seen many people who spend their life angry at the world. I mean, yeah, there's plenty to be angry about, but your anger doesn't do anything to solve that. If you choose the path of love, of openness, of creation, then you choose a path where you can possibly do something that will make things better. That you can, put out an energy of love and kindness into the world, which is what we need. More anger, more frustration, more bitterness doesn't help. So I decided to choose love, and it has been something that has served me well. Here, living here in Tanzania, coming here, it was a big adjustment, and there are things that happened, things that continue to happen that for some people makes them very angry. For some people, they're so tied up in rage and that they can't open themselves up to see what's beautiful and good and wonderful about the situation that they're in. So if you choose anger, if you choose sadness, if you choose whatever it is that you choose, that's the experience that you're going to have. That's what you're going to see. That's what you're going to attract. If you choose love and joy and happiness and forgiveness, then that's what you're going to attract. And so this has been something, I didn't realize the magnitude of the impact it would have in my life, but it was something that I chose early on, and it was in the scope of my relationship at the time. And things would happen and I would get angry, but I realized that angry feeling, holding on to that, didn't solve anything. It just bred more anger, more frustration, more infighting, more bickering. And when I let it go and could move forward in a peaceful, kind way, then we could get past that anger and bitterness and begin to forge a different way together. And so I think that same philosophy can play out in many, many different areas of your life. And it is something that I strive to do. I don't always succeed. And I'm not saying that you should stifle the feelings. I'm not saying if you have anger that you shouldn't feel the anger. Feel it. Feel it and examine it. What is that about? And how can you use that anger, that sadness, that bitterness, the resentment, What is it teaching you? What's the message behind it? So feel it and use that as an opportunity to heal whatever it is that's behind that feeling, and let the feeling go. I've said that many times. I think I've done this in many videos, but it's to let the feelings come up and then release them. It does no good to hold them in and stifle them in, but it also does no good to just hold on to them and let them, it's okay, yes, I'm feeling this way. It's okay to feel this way. Breathe into it. This is why I'm feeling this way. This is making me afraid. I'm feeling a fear that I'm going to be abandoned. I'm feeling rage at the way my people have been treated. I'm feeling whatever it is I'm feeling, okay? And you can let the feeling go and look at this, what's behind it from a different perspective. How can I move forward, understanding that need in a more positive light? How can I bring my skills, my power, my gifts towards addressing these issues? As you are making diet and lifestyle changes, you are very likely going to encounter a number of different feelings that come up. And as you're interacting with people who don't want you to change, as you're having feelings about yourself, and when you have temptations and you succumb to those temptations, when your cravings get controlled, there's going to be things that happen that bring up feelings. As you purge, as your body heals and you change things, emotions and things that are stored up in your body will begin to come up and purge. And so you will have feelings. And feelings are okay. Feelings are not the problem. Feelings are your opportunity to learn. So this, again, is a time when journaling is going to be very helpful. I talk about that a lot on this channel, is the power of using a journal. And so as you are stepping forward into your whole and healthy self, be aware of your feelings, but don't let them control you. Choose how you want to feel. How does you want your life to feel to you? I want to feel peace. I want to feel love. I want to feel freedom. I want to feel appreciation for the beauty around me, for the gifts that I have been given, for my family. And I focus on feeling those feelings, and not anger because somebody did me wrong, or frustration because of the state of the world. I'm focusing on me here right now, sending out love, sending out peace, and doing everything I can to make the world a better place. So that's thing number one that I learned in my 65 years of living that have helped me to create a whole and healthy lifestyle. The second thing that I've learned in my 65 years is I'm not stupid. When I got done with school, I felt stupid because even through college, I had gotten a graduate degree and everything, and I still felt stupid because the way I learn and the way I think isn't the way that they recognize or they acknowledge or that they appreciate in school. And so I always had trouble studying. The books that I was asked to read, I couldn't read. I couldn't, test. I was a C student all through school, and I struggled. I struggled to get through, and I really felt stupid afterwards. And even to this day, I still have vestiges of that sometimes. And it wasn't until my daughter was born, when I was 29 years old. And I had studied education, and I had all these books on my shelf, Montessori, Piaget, all this stuff, that when I was in school, like I said, I just couldn't read those textbooks about these learning theories. I had things that I felt intuitively, but in terms of studying, I just couldn't do it. And now, when my daughter was born, suddenly those very same books were fascinating to me. And I would sit down and read them maybe multiple times. I was just enthralled with learning all of this stuff. And I realized then how important it is for it to be real to your life and to be interesting to you, and that when you are focused on things that really are meaningful to you, that have an impact on your day-to-day life, how much more in depth you can study, how much more you can get out of it, and how much more you are willing to put in the effort in order to learn. And that
recognition informed the work that I was doing. I was running a daycare home at the time, and I began to just really focus on creating environments where the kids could learn in their own way. And I noticed, like, if I was to try to direct them and say, okay, kids, let's do XYZ right now, I had a hard time keeping them interested. But when I would involve them in some real life activity, or when I would follow what they were doing, they were willing to learn and interested in learning. And so it's been the approach I've also used with the work I do with my coaching clients, is that rather than me deciding what it is that you should be learning or you should focus on at any one point, it's more important for you to decide what's most important, what's most urgent for you, what's most meaningful for you right now in your life and in making the changes that you're trying to make. All of these things that I've learned, you will find are have a common theme, and that it is trusting our own selves, is following our own path, not just following along with what everybody else says because everybody else says it, but that you have inside you a roadmap, a compass that will lead you to where you're trying to go, to lead you to finding your best answers. When you use your intuition, when you follow what you need, what's most current for you right now. And so I ask you, what do you most need to learn right now? Is it about vegan cooking? Is it about nutrition? Is it about habit forming? You know, what is it, the thing that you feel right now would most impact you in helping you reach your diet and lifestyle goals, your healthy lifestyle goals? What is it that would most help you create a whole and healthy you? And that's where you should focus your attention, no matter what else anybody else says. You are your best teacher, your best compass. Thing number 2 that I've learned in my 65 years is the importance of recognizing that you aren't stupid, that you have the best answers. I'm here at Little Dream Daycare Center, a African-centered school here in Arusha, Tanzania. It's strange that you would have to think of an African-centered school in Africa, but unfortunately the schools tend to be very Eurocentric, and the kids don't necessarily learn anything about themselves as African people or about African pride. And so I'm here today delivering some books, and thank you those who participate in the Black Baby Book Project. That my friend Wandy has been doing for the last couple of years, and she just brought in a load of books, and so I came here today to share the books with the kids, and they loved them. Oh, I read them a story, and they sang me songs, and it's been a great day. And so that's it for this thing that I've learned in my 65 years. The third thing I've learned in my 65 years is that life is like a winding road. I remember one time I had decided to leave my job, and I just knew I was done. I couldn't do it anymore, but I didn't know what was going to happen next. So I had put in my notice of resignation. I had about a year. I was going to finish out that year, and then I would be leaving. And I didn't know what I was going to be doing next until really a month before my end date was to happen. I was walking a labyrinth one time. Labyrinths are often a very good meditative tool, and this particular labyrinth was in the middle of the woods, which was something unusual. So there were big trees and things growing up right in the middle of the labyrinth. And so as I walked, I just was like releasing and trying to, release the worry about it, and open myself up to possibilities. And I had applied for a job, but I hadn't heard anything. And so as I was walking that labyrinth, a phrase came to my mind, and it said, well, 2 things. It says, follow your nose. It always knows. The whole toucan from the Fruit Loops commercial. And which was a reminder to follow my intuition, and that my intuition knew. My intuition told me I couldn't stay at that job anymore, and that something new was coming my way. And as I continued to walk, I came around this curve,
around this tree, and I couldn't really see what was, the path ahead of me. And another thing came to my mind. It was that you cannot see around the next curve. Something is there, but because you are where you are, you cannot see what that's going to be when you get around there. What I found is that I needed to have faith in that whatever it is that I was trying to manifest was coming, and I just couldn't see it yet. It's like when you're driving down a dark road. You can't see anything further than your headlights ahead of you. It doesn't mean that there aren't beautiful destinations up ahead or that good things aren't there, but you can't see it yet. Yes, of course, you need to be careful. Yes, of course, you need to plan. You need to, do your due diligence. But when you've done those things, then you need to let go and trust that what is for you and for your best interest is coming your way. Keep stepping, keep stepping, keep stepping. And you can't see around the next curve, but it's coming. So that was the third thing I learned in my 65 years, was you can't see around the next curve. And follow your nose. It always knows. The fourth thing that I've learned in my 65 years of living is the power of stepping into your fear, being courageous. I learned some time ago in a lecture that I attended the concept of fear not meaning stop. Oftentimes when we're afraid of something, we think that means, oh, I should stop doing it, I shouldn't do it. But this concept was that fear actually means go. Fear means you're about to learn something, you're about to experience something new. And honestly, it's what I've learned, that when I can step forward into my fear, when I'm courageous and do it anyway, even though I'm afraid, so many wonderful things open up for me. I learn valuable lessons about myself. I learn new skills. I meet new people. I discover new gifts. I discover new places. I get to experience new things, and my horizons expand and open up. Obviously, there are some things you should be afraid of, but oftentimes the fear is just the fear of the unknown. For instance, when we are making lifestyle changes, when we're stepping into the potential of a brand new healthy diet and lifestyle, it can be very frightening. You wonder, how can I do this? I don't know what to do. I'm so overwhelmed. And you can feel afraid. The thing to do is not look at the whole big giant picture of what it is going to be like, but to just look at, okay, what's the first thing that I need to do? What's one thing, one step I can take? And each step that you take, you'll learn something that will help you see what's the next step you should take. You don't have to understand or know what to do all from start to finish. All you need to know is, what should I do? Not even know. All you need to decide is what you want to do first or next, and just take that step. And as you try making a new recipe, you discover, oh, I don't really like eggplant, or I don't really like the combination of curry powder and I don't know, whatever. And so then the next step will be to say, can I make this recipe again using different ingredients? What are the things that I can do to take the very next step? What did I learn from stepping into this fear? What did I learn from this experience? And how can I use that lesson to take me to the next step? So it's very, very important. Do not let your fear, your worries, your stress about what could possibly happen stop you from doing the things that you know you need to do, the things that you want to do. I remember several times in my life where I have stepped into fear. When I was a really shy child. It was one point in my life where I couldn't even call up the store and say, hey, hello, Marshall Fields, what time do you close? It was so frightening to me. And then when I went to college, I went to a place I had never been before. I went to a city in a different state, and I didn't know anyone. And here it was, this little shy girl who was afraid to talk to anybody, having to make all new friends, having to, new roommates, new classmates, new teachers. Everything was brand new. And yeah, it was scary, very scary. But in that experience, I got to recreate myself, actually to look at who I really am and decide for myself, is this actually who I am or who I want to be? And it was an opportunity
to step into a fuller, more healthy aspect of who I am, a fullness of my personality, of my power. It allowed me to gain power and feel stronger about myself, to decide, to realize that I had nothing to be ashamed of, that people actually like me. And so I've continued that process on through my life of when something is frightening, to step into it anyway. Nowadays, I find that experience in my yoga class, which sometimes we do dance at the end. And there's a group of young Tanzanian men who come to the class who are dancers. Oftentimes, we will do a little dance thing at the end, and they will teach us some dance moves and we do it. And I'm really, embarrassed about that. I don't feel confident at all about myself as a dancer, but I do it anyway. I push myself, and yes, I make mistakes, and yes, I probably look stupid, but it doesn't matter. It's still, I feel better afterwards. I feel accomplished, like I've done something, that I've been brave, that I've been courageous. I'm never going to be an African hip-hop dancer, and that's okay, but I can still have fun doing it, and I can still learn about my body doing it. And so I encourage you, as you move forward into your whole and healthy lifestyle, don't let fear stop you. Step into that fear. Pull up a little bit of courage. All you got to do is take one step, and then another step, and then another step. And before you know it, you'll be somewhere new and amazing that you didn't know you could get there. Don't let fear stop you. Fear means go. You're about to learn something. Step into it. The fifth thing that I've learned in my 65 years of living is that I'm never alone, that Spirit has my back. I grew up in a largely unreligious family. Many people in my family are atheists or were atheists. Very early on, as I approached my early adolescent years, I realized that just didn't work for me. I realized that there was something. I could feel it. There was a spiritual aspect of life that I couldn't deny. And over the years, that sense and that connection to that spirit has only deepened. I experimented with a lot of different religious concepts and dabbled here and dabbled there. And I think in some ways it was a gift that I wasn't brought up in a church, because it allowed me to connect with spirit, to think about spirit and the divine without the boxes that are, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, whatever. It allowed me to really develop a personal relationship with the divine. And over the years, I have found that it is very true that I am never alone, that I always am surrounded by spirit and guidance. When I open myself up to it, I can tap into a rich wealth of information and guidance. No matter what's going on with me, even in some of the most difficult times, I always know that Spirit has my back. What I'm going through may not feel good. It may make me wonder, why is this going on? But ultimately, I know that it is for my highest good. I can say a prayer and say, I want this situation to change. I'm committed to living, fulfilling my ori, my mission, my purpose in life. And in my mind, my idea may to have, this relationship work out or this situation happen in this certain way. And what happens is not. Divine Spirit says no. What needs to happen is this person, this situation needs to get out of your life in order for you to actually do what the things are that you need to do. And yes, it's painful. Yes, it's hard to go through. But ultimately, I know that on the other side of that, when I'm on the other side of that, I can see the gifts in it, the wisdom in it, and see all the things that have come to me as a result of that happening. And so when I learn to follow and trust Spirit, when I learn to ask for guidance and to listen to the inspiration that just seems to pop into my head many times, and when I follow that, I am led in the right direction. A couple of years ago, I asked for guidance. I said, I needed to make this decision, and if it's the right decision or when it's the right time, please show me a butterfly. And another time I asked for specifically a yellow butterfly when it was a big decision and I really needed some guidance. I said, show me a yellow butterfly. I remember one time I was sitting out here in my yard and I was trying to say, okay, what am I going to do about this? Is it time to do this thing? Just then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw this yellow fleeting and I said, was that a yellow butterfly? And it was like, okay, the butterfly turned around and came right back in front of my face and then went back on its way. And many times when I am out here saying my prayers, just opening to spirit and guidance, a butterfly will come by and around me. And another time, I was a post I recently made, and it was like some spark of inspiration, some thought that came into my head, and I thought I should share this on Instagram, on social media. The negative, doubting, self-doubting part of me said, I was sitting there on my front porch and the yellow butterfly came, flew right past my face and on past. And I said, okay, I'll post it. I have learned to really open myself up to that and to trust it and not believe that it's, in my imagination or something, to realize that I am at all times surrounded by my soul, my higher spirit, my Ari, my Orisha, my ancestors. That spirit has my back. I'm never alone. Even when I feel the most alone, if I stop and remember, it really helps to soothe me, make me feel better, and help me to step forward with strength and with power, knowing that spirit has my back. And as you're making these, big steps in your life, stepping forward into creating the powerful, healthy, whole and healthy life that that is there for you, remember that. As you're doing something you're not sure which way to go, ask for guidance. When you're feeling alone, when you're feeling like nobody understands me, remember you're not alone. And trust that if you, with purity in your heart, have put out a request as to, what it is that you need and want in your life, that is, for the highest good, that what needs to happen in order to make that happen will happen. If you are doing your part of listening within, of taking a step forward, stepping out in courage, that this is an important part of being whole and healthy. And it's one of the things that I learned early on to start with, but I have deepened and grown in that belief over the years. It still is continuing to this day to deepen and grow. So that's thing number 5 that I've learned in my 65 years of living. Not in any particular order, but they're all important things. So that's it for today. My 5 lessons I've learned over my 65 years that have really helped me to create a whole and healthy lifestyle, for whole and healthy me, so that I can bring my gifts out into the world, so I can share with you and to help create a better world. And I'd love to hear what you think. What do you think of my 5 lessons, and what lessons have you learned? Leave a comment below and share your wisdom with the world. We all have great wisdom to share, and I'd love to hear from you. Let's start a discussion, a dialogue. Don't forget to subscribe and click like and share this video with others who you think could use this information. So that's it for today here in Arusha, Tanzania. And I'm Opare from Food for the Soul. Kwaheri, goodbye.